Hi, this is Mia Renee. Sexpert has been a dream of mine for the last 2 years, and now it's finally a reality. Help support Sexpert and keep it free for all listeners. I'm paying out of pocket each month, and with a small contribution from select members, I'll be able to afford to keep Sexpert up and running. Visit sexpert.podbean.com and click on the Become a Patron button to learn more about the crowdfunding system. You can also find the direct link in the show notes below. Thank you for listening.
You're listening to Sexpert with Mia Renee, where we say words like piece of shit, motherfucker, cocksucker, cunt. We get so dirty that even your mother's soap bar can't clean our mouths. You've been warned.
Welcome to Sexpert with Mia Renee, where we talk everything sex. Get ready for awkward topics, inappropriate jokes, foul language, and a little bit of education. We are no doctors, just young adults looking to inform our generation about sex so they can live healthier, naughtier lives. I'm Mia Renee, your host. Are you ready? Hey guys! Welcome to Sexpert with Mia Renee, where we teach our generation how to lead healthier and naughtier lives. I'm Mia Renee, your host, and today we are talking about condoms and STIs, and just a bunch of informative things about the sort. Tonight I am just here with Mason. Mason, how are you?
Doing wonderful.
Yeah, you spent the day in Asheville today. How did that go?
It was pretty cool. Did a little bit of Pokemon stuff.
Ah,
Yeah.
that was my next question. My next question was like, how have you been playing Pokemon Go? So you went to Asheville and just caught a bunch of Pokemon then, right?
Well, I didn't catch Pokemon.
Oh, that's lame.
Yeah, my friend Jason, I'm sure you remember him.
Oh, definitely has
Yeah.
Pokemon Go on his phone.
He definitely does. He has a smartphone now. For like the past 4 years, he's had an old flip phone.
Oh, wow, that's impressive.
Yeah.
That's impressive. I'm so happy for him.
He's done really well for himself in the phone department.
So
and
have you
about it.
Have you not downloaded Pokemon Go at all, or?
I downloaded it. I was kind of put under duress by a friend, and but I haven't actually played it. I just kind of fiddled with it.
Yeah.
I sort of know what it's about.
I'm not
Pokemon and whatnot.
super into it, I guess.
Right.
I'm not incubating the 12 eggs I have right now because it requires me to walk a lot.
Oh.
And I don't want to do that.
See,
so
I had a treadmill since broke, but
I guess you could just say I'm not motivated enough.
yeah, I'm buying a treadmill soon, so maybe I should get into that. I'll just strap it to my hip or something.
Yeah.
It's like when I wear my booty shorts when I go walking.
See, it's also supposed to work when you're in the car, but for some reason, even when I have Pokemon Go up and everything, it doesn't I don't know.
So that's what we did. I drove around.
I'm sick of it. So you drove around, you didn't even walk around Asheville, you just drove around Asheville.
Walked around a little bit, around the community college up there.
Yeah, okay.
Stuff. But I mostly just drove and took care of things I needed to, and he tagged along and played Pokemon Go the whole time.
Nice. Yeah, I was in downtown Asheville, a couple weeks ago for my dad's 50th, and my sister's boyfriend had come up with her, and it was his first time ever visiting Asheville, and literally all she and I did was play Pokemon Go. So it was like his first time ever in Asheville, and his nose was in his phone the whole time. And I was just like, what a time to be alive, you know?
Same.
It's great.
It's a wonderful city.
It is. It's a wonderful city with a fuckload of Pokemon. Let me tell you something. So many Pokestops everywhere. It's amazing. Thank you, Asheville, for being amazing. And our listeners may be wondering why the fuck we're talking about Pokemon. I feel like I need to give a little backstory here. So, I was inspired to do this episode about condoms because condom usage is just not as high as it should be. And I came up with some funny phrase that I commented on my friend's Facebook status with. I said something like, remember kids, you can always play Pokemon Go because it's a natural form of birth control. And then I said, and you can catch Pokemon instead of catching STIs. So I I kind of had that idea to do this episode and kind of make it not really Pokemon themed, but just inspired, at least in the title. And I actually tweeted out like 3 different title ideas, of which I'm only going to use one. It was the one that was most popular. I also Snapchatted out the 3 different title ideas, and that it was the same one was the most popular. So, Gotta Catch 'Em All, Except an STI is the name of this episode, which I'm super stoked for. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so speaking of social media, if you're not following me, go do that. I'm at Mia Renee Cole on literally everything. We run Twitter polls, and by we, I mean I, but we share them on the show. Twitter polls and stuff all the time. You can also find Sexpert on Facebook, facebook.com/Sexpert with Mia Renee, and you can find Sexpert on plenty of different platforms. Speaking of the Twitter poll, though, I did run one this week, and I said this week's episode of Sexpert is about STIs and condoms. How many types of STIs do you think there are? And the options were 5, 10, 20, and 30 plus types of STIs. So no one voted for the number 5. Actually, it was split pretty evenly among 10, 20, and 30 plus. 33% of people voted for each 3 of those.
It's pretty even.
It's pretty well. It says
about as even as you can get.
It says 33, and then it says 33, and then it said 34. But I got 9 votes, so it had to have been 3 people across the board for each one. I don't know where they're getting 34%. Maybe
somebody has a mad vote skill.
That must be it. I have no clue. So, Mason, how many types of like STIs do you think there are? Like you were telling me before we started recording that you're not like super familiar with all of them, but like how many?
Yeah.
If you could guess, how many do you think there are?
I definitely was it 35 or 30 plus?
It was 30 plus.
I would definitely say there's probably 30 plus. I feel like there's a lot of like diseases and stuff that could be considered STI or whatever, even if it's not a disease. I don't know, a condition, sure.
Yeah,
whatever.
Cancer, STI.
I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know. I just think there's a lot of them.
Yeah, so there's like it's really hard to answer that question. Mm-hmm. But according to the Medical Institute, they said the number of STIs will vary depending on what is counted as an STI and whether sexually transmissible infections are counted. But the Medical Institute uses a list of STIs that is adapted from chapter headings in the standard STI textbook, and the list includes 27 different infections. So it's almost at 30, not quite. They included bacterial infections, ectoparasitic infections, protozoal, I don't know what the fuck I'm saying. I hope the audience thinks I do. Viral, and that's it. So, but there's quite a number. They included things like lice, like pubic lice, as an STI, and that's like the most interesting one, at least out of them. Like, there's things in here that I have no clue what they are. Why
is I could be totally wrong, but to my understanding, crabs is pubic lice, is it not?
Is it?
I thought that's what it was. Maybe it's not. I was going to ask why, if it is that, why is it called crabs?
I'm supposed to be the sexpert, right? And like,
hey man,
a crustacean with a broad body, stalked eyes, and 5 pairs of legs.
That kind of sounds like what's going on in between my legs right now. I'm not going to lie.
Louse that infest human body hair, especially in the genital region, causing extreme irritation. Yeah, so, as it states in the intro for the podcast, we aren't doctors, and I'm no, like, super expert when it comes to STIs and STDs, and if you ever think you have an STI or STD, you definitely need to see a doctor.
Yes. And
you need to get checked regularly by seeing your doctor. It's usually done by swabbing, like the vaginal area, or by collecting pee samples, or by collecting blood samples. It's definitely very, very important. If you don't have a drive to go get tested, just watch the movie Rent, and you'll see what HIV and AIDS is like, and then you can decide that you don't want to die. So, I don't know. I just feel like that was good enough, right? And I don't know.
Yeah. Not dying seems like a pretty good motivator.
Yeah,
to do
so
something.
I wanted to talk mainly today about condoms, but we're also looking at STIs as well. But let's look at Sex Today, what we have in the article for Sex Today. This is on SB Nation. I have no clue what the website is. And it's the Olympics are giving athletes 450,000 condoms to keep up with their sex demands at the Rio Olympics, which I thought was very interesting.
That's the athletes.
The what?
That's the athletes?
No,
themselves?
just the athletes. So the 2016 Rio Olympics are planning for athletes to have sex. A lot of sex. So much sex that the sex quotas are off the charts. We know this because the IOC is supplying the 10,000 athletes at the Summer Games with 450,000 condoms.
I'm going to do some math real quick, my man.
That's more than 40 times the amount of athletes.
Yeah, that would mean that each person has to have sex 45 times.
Oh no, I got some good shit for you here. So they're supplying them with 350,000 male condoms, 100,000 female condoms, and 175,000 packets of lube. I wish I had 175,000 packets of lube.
First of all, there's 10,000 Olympic athletes. What? Are you serious?
Yeah, I mean
I figured
worldwide, and all the different events they have.
There's like 300 countries on Earth, like max. How
Yeah.
does that work? Bro.
But get this, so there's 10,000 athletes, 450,000 different types of condoms available. And the Olympics are only 16 days. So, here's what the sex estimates are kind of coming out looking at number-wise. So if every single Olympian paired up, here's what happens. Every single Olympian. Okay. 45 condoms per individual athlete. 90 per pair of athletes, 45 times 2. 5.5 condoms per day, which I don't know why you'd need half of a condom, but all right. Assuming each athlete spent 10 minutes having sex per condom, they're used to setting quick times, the 2016 Olympians would spend 75,000 hours having sex, which is 8.5 years of sex in 16 days. And they would use a total of 185 gallons of personal lube.
So out of the 16 days that they're there, how many of those days would have to be accounted for each person to fill up that sex quota? Did you do that math? I don't know. Okay, so you said how many hours? How many hours would they all have?
75,000.
Okay.
So that's assuming each person had 10 minutes of having sex, and each person used 5.5 condoms. So that would be 55 minutes a day having sex times each person, I guess. Would be 75,000.
Yeah, so
Mason's doing his math right now.
Yo, Mason is mathing out. They would have each person would have to individually spend 195.3125 hours during that 16-day period.
Yeah, just a regular 2-week period. They're not busy doing anything down there. I don't know why they wouldn't be having that much sex. It's just.
I don't think I'm physically fit enough to do that.
Well, you're not an Olympian. Now, are you, Mason?
That's true. I'm not an Olympian. Yeah.
Now, this article also says, according to Trojan, the average length of a male condom is 7.5 inches. So, assuming that all 350,000 of the male condoms are the same size, if you put each male condom end to end for the Rio Olympics, it would measure 41.7 miles. So, enough to stretch from the Rio airport to the Olympic Village with room to spare.
Damn.
So, it may be a little bit excessive, but you know what? I'm glad they're giving them condoms. And lube to go with the condoms. That's even better. I need to get on this Olympic committee. Who are these people? If I'm on it, people be getting dildos and anal beads and, whatever their heart desires.
Whoa.
To make their sex life better.
That's dangerous territory, Mia. People desire a lot of stuff.
Crack cocaine. You know.
Same.
Just whatever they like. So I thought that was very funny, especially like with the amounts. 450,000 fucking condoms.
I hope like they like take track of how many were used or missing or not accounted for. Like I want to know.
How can you keep track of that many condoms?
I don't know.
How can you keep track of that many athletes? They're gonna lose an athlete. Like an athlete's just gonna disappear or something.
10,000 athletes? That's insane.
They're all gonna have to hold hands like they're in kindergarten again. You know.
They'd be doing more than holding hands.
Well, obviously they have 450,000 condoms to use.
I mean, let's be honest.
What?
I mean, what? Imagine the destruction that you could do with that many condoms.
Well,
just like all the condom balloon animals you could make.
Yeah, that's right.
Like, there's a lot of uses.
Like, what could I put condoms on?
Right.
Now, I'll tell you what. I was in Victoria's Secret a couple weeks ago, just not buying lingerie, and I was with my sister, and she was looking at one of their like perfume bottles, and they're just kind of like long spray bottles, and she was just looking at it, and she picked it up, and I was waiting in line to check out, and she was like, Mia, come feel this bottle. And she's like, I don't understand, it's like super oily, like is it leaking? And I was like, I don't know. So I like looked, I picked it up, and I'm like, God, that's so oily, like the perfume must be like leaking out of it, but it was so oily. And I lifted the lid, and someone had put a condom, and they must have rolled it on like from the top all the way down, and it probably just came up, rolled back up. And it was sitting on the top, like at the little nozzle under the cap, and I was just like, oh my God.
Bruh.
So I just picked it up, and when I checked out, I handed it to the cashier lady, and this was early in the morning, so fortunately they weren't busy. And I was like, I just wanted to let you know that someone put a condom on here, and she had this look of just utter, just like shock. She was like, oh my God. She was like, that is so gross. So I just kind of gave it to her and was like, so you may not want to sell this one, or like right now, maybe clean it up. I don't know.
Yeah.
But she was just like, people do the weirdest things at this store, I swear. And I told my sister, I'm like, it's probably a 13-year-old boy with the condom in his wallet, and he's not going to use ever. So, well, most boys don't use condoms because they're sad, and it makes me sad. Speaking of, what's your condom game like, Mason?
Okay, so full disclosure, when I have sex
you always
someone,
say that when you're gonna disappoint me. Yeah.
I know. Yeah. I don't think I've ever. I have used a condom before. I'm gonna tell you that. But I haven't used them extensively enough to really know. Like when I've had sex with people, it's always been with someone who I definitely knew, definitely trusted, zero issues.
Yeah.
Except for like one or two occasions, but whatever, that's totally normal. And then on those occasions, I did use a condom, but I've never like used a specific brand. I've never used like something like that I've stuck with. I have no condom loyalty.
No condom brand loyalty.
And I think I joked when I was texting you about this episode. I said I have a lot of free time today, which turned out to sadly be not true. And I was totally gonna go to the store. I was totally gonna buy.
Oh yeah, that's right. You told me that you were gonna try them all on.
And I was just gonna try a bunch of condoms on, but I didn't have enough time.
Damn, now I'm sad.
Yeah, I know. And then so I don't know. My condom loyalty is nada, and my condom game is weak.
Oh well.
So
can you at least put one on correctly?
Yeah.
I tell you what, I'm in college, so are you. But I was, just hanging out with friends one evening last semester, and one of my friends was like, I don't think I know how to put on a condom. These are all my girlfriends, because most girls rely on the guy to do it, so they just, I guess, never learn how to put on a condom. And I was like, what? And like immediately I went to my room, I got a condom, I found a banana. You bet your ass I taught her how to put on a condom right then and there. And we may talk a little bit about how to put on a condom in just a minute, after we talk about STIs, because what's more fun than that? But it's kind of hard to give a visual, right, of how to properly put on a condom, but over a non-visual platform. But so let's talk about STIs for a minute. So what is the difference between an STI and an STD? Because a lot of people are more familiar with the term STD, sexually transmitted disease, and now a lot of people are using the term sexually transmitted infection. So here's the difference: diseases have signs, they have symptoms, and most STIs don't have symptoms because they're infections. they're simply infections compared to like HIV, which is
Right.
more of a disease, which is going to have more of those signs. So this is why, you want to use condoms with people that you don't know, that haven't been tested, even if you trust them. If they haven't been tested, they don't know because there's no fucking symptoms. If there's no symptoms, you don't know. However, I'm going to go over a couple of things that do have symptoms, such as chlamydia, gonorrhea, stuff like that, so people can be kind of familiar with them. But if you think you have an STI, or if you haven't been tested, please, please, please go see your doctor. Doctors, I think I saw somewhere like on statistical something. Here it is. I'll find it in just a second. But it was something like doctors said they saw like something like only 30% of their patients got tested. It was something like that. Yeah, in a national survey of U.S. physicians, fewer than 1/3 routinely screened patients for STDs or STIs. So that means their patients weren't coming for regular screenings.
Right. What would you define as like regular?
Yearly.
Just like,
yearly,
okay.
yearly, or if you have a new sex partner.
Okay. Well, I'm not a regular.
Yeah.
But truth be told, sex life is kind of mediocre. So whatever. I feel like I'm pretty okay.
Like, I would always get tested if you have like a new sex partner.
Yes.
And then when you and that sex partner stop having sex, get tested after that.
Okay. Yeah.
If you go through a nasty divorce, I would also highly suggest getting tested.
Well, when I go through a nasty divorce.
Yeah, you just let me know and I'll hook you up.
Yeah. I'm already an old man. It's getting
Yeah, you already got that dad bod, as you mentioned on our previous episode. Yeah. All right, so let's look at symptoms really quick. So chlamydia. Signs and symptoms may include, this is from the Mayo Clinic. It'll be in the show notes. Painful urination. That's peeing, for those of you that did not go through the 5th grade. Lower abdominal, I can't speak. Lower abdominal pain. In women, a vaginal discharge. Or men, a discharge from the penis, which is like, do you even know what discharge is, Mason?
I'm going to assume it's along the lines of something sort of like pre-cum, but not necessarily the same.
It's something, Discharge is a lot more common in women because it's the vagina usually cleaning itself out. It's like a liquid coming out that for women can be pretty normal, but in a lot of things, like with chlamydia, like the discharge for women would be like especially smelly or different looking or something like that.
Right.
Pain during sexual intercourse in women, bleeding between periods in women, and then testicular pain in men. Gonorrhea symptoms include thick, cloudy, or bloody discharge from the penis or vagina, pain or burning sensation when urinating, heavy menstrual bleeding or bleeding between periods, painful swollen testicles, painful bowel movements or pooping, or anal itching.
So I have a story.
Yeah. What else is new? All right, so when did your anus itch?
No. It's more about the ejaculation. This happened while I was already in a long relationship with someone who I had had plenty of sex with, and I'm so
I know
glad.
her.
Probably.
Yeah.
Now I guess we'll probably talk about this eventually, but for me, a big choice whenever I'm having sex with someone, especially for the first time, is if I pull out, where do I ejaculate? And there's a lot of options. Anyways,
there's a lot of options there.
Yeah. So at this particular time, just straight on the stomach. Normal, whatever. Not like in the belly button and all freaky and stuff, but like side of the hip, whatever. She was kind of into it. You know, it's cool. It's whatever. And this time, my ejaculation was brown.
Oh.
I have no idea why.
That's a discharge, yeah.
Me out. I had no idea what was going on. And that's the only time I've ever had an incident that I've ever worried about. And then it never happened again.
Did you get checked out?
I did. I'm totally fine.
Did the doctor say anything about anything?
It's just, no, not really. Didn't really have a lot to say. Just said, if it happens again, obviously, just come back in and stuff like that. But I think the run of the mill was that it was probably just, an occurrence.
Yeah.
I think it may have been from, I don't know. I mean, that couldn't really happen from having like ejaculating a lot, right?
I don't know. I'm not as familiar with male discharge.
Yeah, man, don't get me lying. I have no idea.
So, I love that you shared that with our listeners, and I hope that you don't die.
Oh, damn.
Our next,
I'm already dead.
That was intense. You're already dead on the inside. I know. So there's a couple other symptoms for things listed on this link. However, I want to talk about HIV really quick because the thing with STIs, whereas STIs go away a lot easier, right? But things like STIs can lead to HIV. And HIV, which is the human immunodeficiency virus, is what can lead to AIDS. And AIDS is a chronic, life-threatening disease. AIDS kills.
Okay.
Period. And a lot of people have this misconception that only gay men can get AIDS because in the 80s there was a huge AIDS outbreak and a lot of gay men were affected by it. But anyone who has sex without a condom and is not checked and has an STI, STD, or HIV, anything that can be transmitted with fluids through sex, is at risk for AIDS. So, and the reason so many gay men were getting it in the 80s is because they weren't, this wasn't really well known yet. Mm-hmm. And most people only use condoms to prevent pregnancy, and obviously that wasn't a thing, that gay men considered, using, and they wouldn't use condoms, and they didn't use condoms naively, and then eventually they probably found out more and more, but by then it was almost completely spread in the community, and there were plenty of people, I'm sure, with the mindset of, oh, it won't happen to me. But HIV does interfere with your body's ability to fight off viruses, bacteria, and fungi. So with HIV, which is why you can get AIDS so easily, but AIDS does the same thing. So you get the flu with AIDS, you motherfucker gonna die. You're not gonna live. When first infected with HIV, you may have absolutely no symptoms. Some people develop a flu-like illness, usually 2 to 6 weeks after being infected. But some early symptoms include fever, headache, sore throat, swollen lymph glands, rash, and fatigue. Flu. They usually disappear within a week to a month and are mistaken for something, like the flu. But during that period, you're highly infectious. So if you have sex with anybody, they're fucked.
You're done fucked.
Yeah. And as the virus continues to multiply and destroy immune cells, you may develop mild infections or chronic signs and symptoms, such as swollen lymph nodes, often one of the first signs of HIV infection, diarrhea, weight loss, fever, cough, and shortness of breath. But late-stage HIV infection includes persistent unexplained fatigue, soaking night sweats, shaking chills or fever higher than 100.4 degrees Fahrenheit for several weeks, swelling of lymph nodes for more than 3 months, chronic diarrhea, God knows that'd be awful, persistent headaches, or unusual opportunistic infections. Please use condoms.
Yeah. Sure.
We can get through genital herpes symptoms. That'd be fun. But we're not going to because I want to save time for other things. However, if you want to look at different symptoms of STIs, or STDs, really, because STIs don't have any symptoms, check out the link in the show notes with the Mayo Clinic. But let's talk a little bit about statistics here to scare people even more into using condoms, right? I'm using my scare tactics today.
I feel pretty scared.
You ready for this?
No.
How many people do you believe will have an STD or STI at some point in their lifetime?
I would say, in the United States, probably over 50%.
Exactly. You are spot on. More than half of all people, which I don't know if this is worldwide or not, I believe it's just American. More than half of all people will have an STD or STI at some point in their lifetime. Recent estimates from the CDC show that there are 19.7 million new STIs every year in the United States. In 2008, there were an estimated 110 million prevalent STIs among women and men in the U.S. Of these, more than 20% were among men and women aged 15 to 24 years.
That's us.
Yeah, exactly. That's our generation. Right? So that's why we need to be using condoms. And as I said, fewer than 1/3 of physicians' patients are screening regularly for STDs, STIs. Every year, 1 in 4 teens, that's 1/4 of America's teenagers aged 13 to 19, contract an STD or STI. 1 in 2 sexually active persons will contract an STD or STI by the age of 25. Damn. And about half of all new STDs or STIs in 2000, the year 2000, occurred among youth ages 15 to 24. Let's see. That's really like the really shocking, STI statistics there. Isn't that fun?
Yeah,
Everyone's
I'm not gonna lie, your
rampant.
scare tactics are kind of working.
It's rampant.
Yeah.
It's the Black Plague. So please use condoms, which are a way to prevent STIs. Another way to prevent them, getting tested annually or with every sex partner you have.
Do you do that?
Yes.
Okay.
Because it's muy importante.
You're not wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's important. I would get, and when I said it, I was like, with every sex partner. I'm kind of iffy with that because say you hook up with someone one time, but you use a condom. But you hook up with people a lot because it's college culture. What can we say? I wouldn't be like, get tested every time you hook up with someone. But I'd say every few people, or if you are with someone for an extended period of time, to the point that you end up not using a condom, because that happens a lot in long-term relationships.
Right.
I would get tested after that.
Okay, yeah.
But another thing we talked about, I believe it was on our blowjob episode. Maybe not. Maybe it was on our oral sex episode. I think it was on an episode about oral sex. We talked about not brushing your teeth after giving oral. Do you remember this at all?
I think I vaguely remember something about that.
Okay,
Yeah.
so this is another good way to prevent getting an orally transmitted STI, is to not brush your teeth before or after performing oral, and or to not eat anything crunchy before and after giving oral, because what that does is, when you brush your teeth, sometimes you bleed, right? Because you cut your gum. So say after you give oral, you decide, well, I'm going to brush my teeth and get that the orally taste out of my mouth. But say you cut yourself. Well, there's a transmission of fluids right there with blood and possible cum. So it's like, don't do that.
Yeah.
I would suggest like rinsing your mouth out, not getting too rigorous in there around the gum area. Just being plain careful. Because STIs can be transmitted through oral sex too, and a lot of people just completely ignore that. They cannot be transmitted by sitting on a toilet, though. People think you can get pregnant by sitting on a toilet that was, covered in cum or something. You can't get pregnant. You can't really get an STI that way either. It's not going to just crawl up in you. It just...
Yeah. I mean, if you have like a giant gash on your ass cheek,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there's like the split possibility. Like if the liquid, I think it was said if there's still sweat, if someone had sweat on a toilet, and then you somehow get it on you.
I'm sorry, who the fuck gets sweaty on a toilet?
Sometimes your shits just won't come out, Mason.
Yo, I don't know. I've
personally never
never been
have.
through that. I've never heard anyone strain like that.
But sweat is, that's just, passing through, and if it were to get up in you somehow, like you have a cut on your ass cheek or something, I personally don't know. It's very, the likeliness of that happening is so damn low.
Right,
I'm personally not really worried about it.
So, question time.
Don't wear a condom when you pee.
Yes.
That would be a mess.
Ever sweated on the toilet?
No, I have not.
Okay. Do you know anyone who has?
I do not.
Well, if you meet that person, introduce me.
Why do you want to know them? I don't understand why you would want to know them.
I want to know what that experience was like. I want to know how it happened. If it's
maybe if you're in a really hot bathroom, like you're in a porta potty on a really hot summer's afternoon, and it smells awful in there.
Jesus, why would you ever put...
you had a lot of fair food.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yo.
I probably have, to be honest, because I've been in that situation so many times in my life. I probably honestly have.
Yeah, reason number 1 not to go to the fair.
Reason number 1 not to eat the shit they sell at the fair.
True that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gosh. I mean, porta potty, okay, but like, no. I can deal with porta potties.
It's gross. It's disgusting.
It is. I wouldn't have sex in a porta potty.
No. I wouldn't have sex in a bath. I mean, my bathroom, like
The
in my
bathroom
house,
that
that's different.
I clean.
Right, but like a public bathroom, there's no way.
No.
There's no way.
But they say public bathrooms are cleaner than private bathrooms.
That's okay. It's just a mental thing. I don't really care about germs at this point. It's just I have to feel comfortable.
It's like if I get an STI, I get an STI at this point.
Yeah, at least it's like my germs.
At least it's
I guess.
my STI in my bathroom.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah, totally. Not wearing my condoms.
Same.
Setting a really good example right now, Mason. Thank you.
Yeah.
But here's a question. Hold up. Here's
Yes.
a question. Can STIs be transmitted through swimming pools?
I guess I would say yes, depending on the content of the water.
Well, I have your answer for you.
Okay. I could
It's
be wrong.
no.
No? Okay.
Not unless you're having sex in the pool with someone who has an STI or STD.
Figured that was a given.
So here's the thing. Oh, well, okay. Well, and I'm gonna read this article. Maybe not the whole thing because it's kind of long. But there's the whole shit. What's the new disease that is like just everyone is talking about right now?
Zika.
Yeah. So that's
Yeah.
prevalent in waters.
Okay.
Water.
Like
So
mosquitoes
you
and stuff
are
like that.
you are able so basically you are able to catch diseases and viruses from water. If I guess you're having sex in it or you're making yourself very vulnerable to the water. You are able to if the water is infected. However, no water is infected with an STI because water uses condoms. So like, yeah, it has to be through person-to-person contact. But I did read, I forget where I read somewhere, may have been Fresh You actually, that the reason they're giving the Rio Olympians so many condoms is because Zika is prevalent in the Rio de Janeiro, the water there.
Right, the city.
Yeah, whatever. So
Yeah,
it's
the
prevalent
place.
there. Yeah, I'm not familiar with Rio. I just know there's a movie with a parrot. So it's prevalent there. So it's possible, I guess, if you drink the water, I don't know, to transmit that.
So what you're saying is they should put water in the condom and then drink it out of the condom.
No.
Yeah, I know.
That
I'm
that
just
does
being
not
an ass.
solve things, Mason. Do not let our listeners think that
Yes.
you can like come in a condom and eat the cum and it's not going to
Don't do
transmitted.
that. Don't do that. Don't.
Just don't come in girls' mouths. It's just disgusting.
Yeah, unless they're into it.
Unless they're into it, right?
Yeah.
So, but just fortunately for everyone, Dr. Edward Brooks, an infectious disease specialist at Stanford Healthcare, said that there is no evidence that an individual can get an STD from casually swimming in a pool. Transmissions of STDs through a hot tub or pool are only possible if two people are engaging in sex while in the water. An
Agreed.
intimate exchange of bodily fluids is necessary for that to happen.
What's the big deal with having sex in a hot tub? A lot of people say like you can't like
Is there a
finish in a hot tub.
You can't. What do you mean you can't have sex in a hot tub?
Like you can't come in a hot tub. Like what happens when you do?
What do you mean you can't come in a hot tub?
I've just heard that it's a horrible idea to come in a hot tub.
I'm gonna Google it.
Yo, please do because like
Why is it a bad idea to come in a hot tub? Hot tubs have like, maybe their filters aren't as strong as pools. Here we go. Hot tub sex. Myths, facts, and reasons why we love it. SwimUniversity.com.
no, same.
We'll link that in show notes as well. Let's see here. Warm water equals relaxation, movies and TV, blah, 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 blah. But where is the thing about coming? I don't know. I mean, my guess would be like... my guess would just be that... Wait. What is this about erectile dysfunction?
Oh, damn. Got me.
No, wait. No. It doesn't say any... Wait, no. You do need to use protection while having hot tub sex. Duh.
Right.
Can a woman get pregnant in a hot tub? Yes. Duh. Health risks. Water chemistry. Practice safe hot tub sex. Okay, this is just weird. I would probably say the filtration system isn't as good as like a pool. And maybe it won't get filtered.
Like I casually like asked a friend one day, and the only like real response I got was that like apparently like with the way that the hot tub and, you know, jets and stuff like that work, like it gets like really stringy and like weird, like the composition of like the cum.
Oh.
Yeah, so like when the hot tub's like settled and all the water's settled, like you can see it on top of the water or some crazy shit. I don't know. You know, this is just what I'm told. I'm not saying I believe it. I'm just curious.
Well, here's an easy solution to that problem.
Don't
use a
finish in a hot
condom.
tub. You know.
And finish in the condom.
Yeah.
And then
or just don't have sex in a hot tub.
Then you won't get STIs, and you won't have a weird rainbow of cum in your hot tub.
True that. Can I ask a personal question? Because I'm curious, you being a girl.
Yes, I am a girl. Was that your question?
No.
Okay.
My question is, how long do you have to be having sex with someone? How many times, length of time or whatever, before you are like okay with not using a condom? If you don't mind answering that, because I mean, I've been through that. I mean, I'm just wondering.
Yeah. I don't really have a length of time. Personally.
Whenever you feel good.
Yeah. It's all about like trust and also what's on paper about diseases.
Right.
And stuff like that too. But for people listening, if you are looking to prevent pregnancy, I would always suggest using a condom. Now, I'm on a very powerful form of birth control, so I'm not terribly worried about it. And I also don't usually let people finish inside of me. So it's not necessarily the pull-out method because it's not our only form of birth control because I'm on birth control. But I don't really have a set period of time.
I'm not going to lie. I love pulling out.
Yeah. Do you? You love it.
I do.
It freaks a lot of people out.
It's just so fun to me.
I guess when the woman's on birth control, it's less freaky. But when she's not, it's like, holy shit, you don't, with pre-cum and like, the pull-out method when the female isn't on birth control really just isn't the method you should be using, period.
Right. Yeah. I agree.
At all.
Even though I'm guilty, I agree.
Yeah. But let's talk about condom application for a second. So we obviously can't give a visual, but let's just like kind of give our tips. So what do we do first?
To put on a condom.
Yeah, you take it out of the package.
You have to.
Do you take it out with your teeth or your fingers? As we see like this sexy Christian Grey like ripping the packet open with his teeth.
I haven't seen the movie yet. I really want to.
Okay, well, why don't you come over? You, me, and Grandma can watch it.
Should I have like some schnapps? Like.
Yeah, bring it. She's got some like some liquor.
Yo, your grandma's the best.
Yeah, she's great. So the answer to that is don't use your teeth because that's gonna just risk tearing the fucking condom. So take the condom out, pinch the tip because that's gonna allow to leave a little bit of extra room at the end of the head of the penis between that and the end of the condom, so it leaves room for you to ejaculate. Because if you don't leave room, you're just very masculine ejaculation is gonna burst through the condom, and it's not gonna be effective. So pinch the tip, and then just roll it down the shaft of your penis.
Sometimes easier said than done, not gonna lie.
Yeah,
I've had trouble with it before.
It takes some practice sometimes. Yeah. But see, people are apprehensive to use condoms, right?
I was super nervous the first time I ever used a condom.
Right, but like at the same time, like a lot of people don't even want to use them because it's just more work or it doesn't feel good. Stuff like that. And well, I'm gonna do a selfless what? I'm gonna plug myself here.
You're gonna do things.
Yeah. So I wrote an article on my blog to partner perfectly with this episode of Sexpert, and it's called "How to Make Condoms Awesome." So go to miareneecole.com and check it out. So I came up with a couple of reasons on how to, a couple of ways to make your use of condoms awesome. And I just wanted to go over those real quick so that people know that condom usage is fun. You ready? You ready? Okay, so
convince me.
Number one, Have your partner put it on for you. A lot of guys find this super hot. And it makes sure that females know how to put on goddamn condoms. Know how to just put on a fucking condom. Jesus Christ. Number 2, my favorite one, use lube, okay, because lube. Given. So put it on the point of entrance, the vagina, the anus, whatever the fuck you're putting your dick in. But also it helps to put a drop in the tip of the condom, right, before putting the condom on. And that's going to add added lubricant to the penis that isn't from the condom. So it feels a lot better. Just make sure you're using water-based lube, because oil-based lube likes to eat through latex, which is kind of not helping you.
Sounds scary when you're inside of a person.
Right. So buy the right size of condom, number 3. Buy the right size. Because you buy too large, it's going to be just baggy. You buy too small, it's going to be too tight. And I included a chart to help you figure out what size condom, with what texture of condom too, will help fit you better. Number 4 is play around with different textures and materials. So you don't have to stick to just your cheap condoms, because you're putting the money in for what you're getting. That made no sense. You're paying for what you get, right? So like, the cheaper the condom, the worse it's going to be probably. So trying like a ribbed condom, or like a condom with a vibrating ring, like buy a vibrating cock ring. Something flavored for her pleasure, or for yours if you are tasting the condom. Or any other fun variations are just a great way to help. Also, using condoms made out of polyurethane prophylactic. It's not a latex material. So using that very fancy science word, condoms, they allow the transmission of body heat. Unlike latex. So that helps a lot. And then there's a Cosmo article that I link, and all of this is linked within the article I wrote, which I will link in the show notes. So you have to go to my website first. Haha. So there's a Cosmo article, wait for this, that suggests using lambskin condoms.
Yeah, fuck it. I mean, that's how it came about, right?
However, it kind of defeats the purpose of our episode, because lambskin condoms are porous, so they do not protect against STIs or STDs. They do protect against pregnancy, however, but they're too porous. They allow like sweat or something to get through. So, but lambskin, according to the men in the
my intervaginal sweat.
Yeah.
My penis sweat.
Or the penis sweat.
Does the penis even sweat?
I don't know.
Does it?
You tell me, Mason.
I don't think I've ever.
I don't know.
No, I don't think that's how. Like leg, like if it like brushes your leg or something, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like drops off your forehead, sure, whatever. But
why is your dick that close to your forehead, Mason?
Yo, you're just like looking down at it while you're putting the condom on, and like a bead of sweat like runs off your forehead down your nose.
It's that
onto
intense
the
for
shaft.
you putting on a condom. You're so nervous. You're like just dripping and so.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah.
That's beautiful. I love it.
Oh,
well,
man.
According to the men in this Cosmo article, this kind of grossed me out. The lambskin condoms felt the most like real skin. Like, no shit. All I could think of was Silence of the Lambs, and that weird, creepy guy is like makes the costumes out of people's skin. I'm just like, oh my god. But if you like animals, I wouldn't suggest using those. However, if you are STI, STD free, both you and your partner, and you're looking to prevent pregnancy, and you want the most real experience, lambskin condoms. However, I don't know how expensive they are, so you may just want to raise some lambs and just slaughter them. The next point, what number am I on? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Try thinner condoms. Duh. So my suggestion is the Trojan bearskin condoms. And using a drop of lube inside of them, as well as rubbed around the vagina or anus or whatever. And it's almost like there's no condom. Also incorporate putting a condom on into your foreplay. Kind of like how I mentioned, have the girl put it on for you, right? But here's a tip. So, like an example. So, whoever's putting it on for you, say she's a woman, and you're a man who has a penis. So, that's what we're going to go with. So, the woman is putting on for you. Have her hold the tip of the condom, like where you would hold it with your fingers, but have her hold it between the lips of her mouth, just making sure she's shielding her teeth. Like, very carefully. and or if she's old, take out her dentures. So like just have her put it in the tip of her mouth there, and have her put the condom on the head of your penis as if she were to roll it down, and have her use her mouth to suck on the head of your penis while it's still holding the tip of the condom there as she rolls it down the shaft.
Yo.
It takes a lot of practice and skill, but you can get it down real quick. So, check out that article if you're interested. That I wrote. Yours truly.
Mia, you need to calm down. You need to chill. Oh, man.
I thought it was good, and I thought it'd go well with this episode. I actually originally didn't plan to read it on air. I'm like, it's a little cocky. But I was like, you know what? We're talking about condoms enough, and people our age don't use condoms enough. So let's give them however many fucking reasons that was to use condoms, other than you may die or get pregnant.
Yeah.
Because I want to make it somewhat sex positive.
I feel like positivity is better than you're gonna fucking die.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. But that gets shit done too at the same time.
It's true.
But that's it for today's episode. That's literally it. It flew by. I did a lot of talking. This is the quickest we have ever recorded an episode, Mason.
That's pretty cool.
It's probably because it's just like you and I. Yeah, because we got on after 8 o'clock tonight.
Yeah.
Or after 7 o'clock tonight, excuse me. And it's not even 8 o'clock yet.
Yeah, man.
So this call has been about the length of the actual episode, about 50 minutes.
It's pretty cool.
Which is a first. And my computer's about to die. So we're going to make this farewell super quick.
Oh, okay. All right.
But I love you.
Yeah.
I love everyone. I love condoms. I don't love STIs.
No.
So catch them all, except an STI, and stay sexy. Bye, guys.